Hello again, and welcome to another episode of Sneak Peeks. But this episode has a more personal side. I want to talk about machines and what I call a good progression to them. So a lot of this information is kind of personal and just my opinion. So keep that in mind. Let us start then. As can you just see, this is currently all machines on Gregtech. Currently because Greg may add more later. So we have all this row of machines and those three that are probably the most expensive on them all. When you start the game, this is the line I think you should be of machines. First, go to basic bending machine, and as you know, it makes plates and other things like bars and cells and rods. But we learned this to make plates from one ingot, because for now we need to hammer 2 ingots to get 1, so this will make your ingots last more. Second is the basic assembly machine. This is basically just to make circuits more cheaper, so you can use the old recipe of 2 head alloy ingots and 1 iron plate to make the basic circuit, and then add 3 copper cables and go to the circuit, because the circuit recipe now has been changed. And it's quite expensive to make the electrical circuit to make your first machines. First need to make 2 of this NAND chip and also get the cables. And to make on the chip, you need the head alloy plate and 4 thin wire from Gregtech. So in the beginning to be like 8 head alloy plates just to make 1 single circuit. But when you arrive at this, you can just make the basic circuit board, 3 copper cables, and you got the circuit. And this, as you can remember, is 2 electrons in a iron, or 2 head alloy in a iron. Electron is better because you gain 2, but that is more later. You need to get silver and gold to do electron. Moving on, the next one is the wire mill. Just as you see in this and this, we produce Gregtech cable more effectively, because as you showed in the last one, you can only make 1 cable from 1 plate on the hand. However, on the machine you can use a single ingot in 2 cables. The next one is the basic ladder. Sorry if I didn't call this wrong, but this is how I come. This makes metal rods from your ingots, because previously you need to spend a full ingot to make 1 rod. And believe those are the first steps to begin your production. That's why there is a gap here. This is what you should run for first, because either for circuits and for other things they require. Electric motors are used almost in every machine in the game. And as you can see in the recipe, we need 3 iron rods, 4 uninsulated thin wire, and 2 insulated thin wire. Try to make the count this to make this on the hand. How much? 1 ingot, 2 ingots, 3 ingots, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 ingots to make just 1. And they are used in almost everything. This, after making this step, you're going to start producing machines more effectively, the parts. Moving on, when you have this, start to make your ores valuable more. But should probably be asking, did I not skip some machines like macerator, extractor, compressor? Actually no, because we have the Steam version of them, and there is simply no difference on them, almost. The basic bronze works slower, but the high pressure work at the same rate as the electric ones, and with steam instead of electricity. So this is not the first thing you should go after because you have from the previous. When you have materials to spare, you should make them. Probably the only one... let's continue. After you have this, you have your steam macerator, then it's time to make a basic water machine. For those who play Ice 2 Vanilla, this machine is no big secret. You just place your crochet ore here, and it got washed, and you get your ore purified, and then stone dust and a B product. And B products are essential. Some of them is just like from iron you can get nickel, and we're gonna need a ton of nickel. And for water like tetradrachite, cassiterite, more tetradrachite you can get cobalt, which also require for another machine. When you purify the crochet, you get, the next step is kinda of tricky. You can do two things. You can go for the basic thermocentrifuge, or you can make another way in the basic centrifuge. The difference, to me, I prefer the basic centrifuge. It is a little more energy-wise. The basic thermocentrifuge uses a lot of energy. The difference in the process between these two is probably the byproduct. Some byproducts change depending on the process, but both processes will work on the purified crochet. We go in basic thermocentrifuge. We have here purified iron, and as you can see, if you put in the thermocentrifuge, we're gonna get a centrifuged iron and a tiny pile of tin, and then centrifuged need to be macerated again, or can be smelted. That's not bad actually. Or you can macerate it to get your iron dust. However, if we crush the ore again, we gonna get the purified pile of iron dust. This can either be smelted, but can also be industrial centrifuged to get the same byproduct we would get in the thermocentrifuge, and it's actually a lot more cheaper, even though this don't show how much energy it consumes, but it's a lot. So in my opinion, after get your crochet purified, macerate it again, and then centrifuge it. Moving on, we have two machines left to adapt to our production to help us. First is the basic cutting machine. It will simply must be used to cut wood more properly, or glass, or making the casings for items that need it, but this is more to simply also make bolts. Bolts are actually very important. Because they are used on some recipes. Okay. This one now. This will help us to cut wood without needing to use the saw, and also get more bolts from our rods. If you cut a rod in hand, we only get 2 bolts, but as you saw, we can get 4 bolts here, like this one. We get 4 aluminum bolts, while if you do it in hand you're gonna get 2. And bolts can be used to make screws, but making by hand you're gonna use 2 bolts to make just 1 screw. Or you can place on the ladder 1 bolt for 1 screw. So this will truly help you save products. The next one is the basic extruder. The basic extruder is not very potent and they cannot do much. But the basic reason for us to go to this is simply because we need the rubber to install the cable, and the only recipe until this point was to make 2 rubber bars with a mold plate on the alloy smelter to get 1, and that's consumes a lot of rubber. However, we can do a rubber bar with an extruder shaped plate on the extruder for 1, so we're gonna end saving our rubber. This is the basic progression I think you should take in the beginning to help you develop and make better use of your material. Now let's see each machine, and I'm gonna say something. Basic alloy smelter is the alloy smelter, no big deal. As a machine already took it, Benny 2. Canning is used for some recipes, but that's not a must-have in the beginning of the game, unless you're gonna go direct for biofuel, which require the canning machine to can the compressor plants. Compressor, cutting I already told you, furnace is a furnace, extractor same thing, nothing new. Basic extruder already took it, also the shoot already. Microwave is a cheaper furnace, but it can only, and should be only, very well, only be used to cook food. If you put anything metal here, it's gonna explode, and you don't want this, so do you? The basic printer for printing and naming things. I really don't use this in time. The basic recycler, no big deal, nothing changed. Anything you don't want, try to turn into scrap. You're gonna require tons of scrap in the future. But not everything is allowed to be recycled. Remember, Gregtech disable all easy to get things. Basic scanner. Place your bee or seed bag here, and it is scanned. And it have another function for the future, as you can see on the slot. But let us leave this now. Basic centrifuge does the same as the old centrifuge, but this time it is more easily to access. All the recipes is still the same. What I just show you, you're gonna require to make cables, and these cables are needed for more advanced machines, believe me. We have the basic electrolyzer. This machine will not help you. I'm gonna explain why shortly. Basic centrifuge, basic water machine, already took it. Basic packer. It has the function of the old electric crafting table that using schematics. You can say the function of the machines, like make dust when it dust is, craft the 3x3, 2x2, 1x1. This is not active. This is used to get all the dust and tiny dust and things together. Nuggets use the alloy smelter. This is the basic unpacker. This is a function I did not yet use it, but you can now create things with Gregtech. Oh, come on. Use planks and screws to make the empty crate, and the empty crate can be used on the, we can make this process too, and you can pack stuff like a lot of, just like forestry crates, but instead of carrying only 9 items, it carries 16, and the unpacker is the way to retrieve the items and probably the crate. You can place the crate on the wall and use a crowbar on it, but probably the crate is gonna be destroyed. You have the basic chemical reactor, do the same thing as you did before, make your sulfuric acid, your glycerin, your sodium things. You have the new basic fluid canner, because from now on you can expect that when you use cells on machines of Gregtech, the cell is gonna get destroyed, will not return as previous. You need to use the basic fluid canner to put liquids on cells or remove liquids from cells. It have the tank here and have one tank for output, but don't show. Let's see if it is here. No, it's not here, it does not show. Okay. Moving on, the basic hockey breaker, simple make cobblestone. And we have a new machine, the basic disassemble. This is a very precious machine, but it's also very expensive to make. And as you can see in the tooltip, these machines are 20%. These machines used to dismantle all the machines and get back some of the resources. You can no longer smelt the old machines or old tools to get the material back. You need to use this symbol to it, and the higher the tier, the more the efficiency it have. So this is the first one, so only 20% of the ingredients will return. So only 1 or 2 items. If you go to all the way to the insane voltage, we have 100%, and you can dismantle your machines at your will. And here we have the 3 most expensive ones. All 3 I don't know, but this one is the basic mass fabricator. And the reason for it to be expensive is because it requires 2 fusion generators. And to make the fusion generators, you need osmium wire. And the way to get osmium, come on, is for thermocentrifusion iridium ore to get 1 time, or you can do the purified dust to get 1 tiny pile of osmium, to make 1 dust, to make 1 ingot, to make 2 wires. So to make a simple mass fabricator, you're going to at least macerate and process 18 iridium ores. So good luck. It requires a ton of energy just like before, but different from the previous version. The mass fabricator now obeys the same rule as the Gregtech machines and can suffer from insufficient power line. So you cannot just simply feed it with the excessive energy and just leave it. You need to properly power it, or it's gonna waste your energy. And using the old calculation from, and also it produces not a full U matter each time, it produces liquid matter 1 liter for operation. So to make one single cell of your matter, it's gonna need to make 1000 operations. And each operation it's 10,000 EU. And 10,000 EU divided by 32 EU per tick, you have a pure amount of time. Of course, you could upgrade the tier to make it faster, but you can also expend more energy. But you can also let it consume some amplifier. We have the basic amplifier fabricator. This is not as expensive as the mass fabricator, but this is also not cheap. You burn energy and scrap and other things to produce a liquid amplifier that when injected on the mass fabricator, it's gonna produce the EU matter 4 times faster. And last one, we have the basic replicator. Remember the scanner with this little slot here? This is what we need for. When you got a full pure dust of the material you want to replicate, you take a data orb, go to the scanner, place the data orb here, scan the dust, and you're gonna get the data orb with the information of the dust. You place the data orb here, and you inject this with the EU matter and tons of energy, and need to start to produce the dust you want. But depending on the density of the dust, it will gonna take ages. Now, despite all this is all basic machines. For now, most machines, the only difference between tiers is the speed it works and the energy tier it can receive. It would be a device for when you have a higher tier of energy on your cables that is at least 2 higher than your machines to upgrade your machines, because just downgrade the energy maybe can cost you more energy than the machine itself will consume on a higher voltage. However, the tier can affect, actually 3 machines are affected by the tier. As you see, the basic electrolyzer don't have much recipes they can work. Simply electrolyzed water and make charged crystals from Setsu quartz. This is not very useful, but if you remember correctly, on the previous version, the electrolyzer was a medium voltage machine, so you just make the advanced one, and you have access to back to all old machine, all the recipes. The same can be told about the extruder, as I told before. The basic one can only work very soft material, probably stone, wood, but unsettling of plastic and rubber. So you need to advance at least to advanced one to start to work with some metals to make rods and bolts and screws and everything more efficiently. But the biggest change is the macerator. The basic and the advanced macerator did not change much. However, on the third tier, we start to see a change. It's now a universal macerator, and you have 2 slots, because now it can produce a big product, just like a rock crusher. And the next one, the universal pulverizer, even the tooltips say it works like a rock crusher. And to do so, we have more slots. These do not mean you can get 3 byproducts, but rock breaker can break tools like my pickaxe and all the stuff and give back some of the products. So the more slot you have, the more products you can get back. And the last one, the blend-o-matic, it have 4 slots. But that's also applied. The advanced macerator say it's only a macerator and a pulverizer. I had make some tests. Here we have the universal, the universal pulverizer and the hockey crusher. Those 3 machines are fitted with a stack of 16 iron ore, 16 nether aluminum and 16 bonded iron from PFR. And this was the result. We got crushed iron, we got nickel, we got aluminum, bauxite, bonded iron, and bonded iron dust from this one. From the next year, we got almost the same thing, but we also got the direct dust and stone dust, and in this case was a little more of bonded iron dust, but this is more lucky. The only difference is now we can get the dust. And on the hockey crusher, as you can see, is about the same thing on this one. But in my humble opinion, I will just share this quickly. It's not energy wise to go all the way to the last one. Let's grab here 2 ores. Loud isn't, because for each operation on the universal macerator it expends about, let's be good with it and say that it uses 7,000 EU for each ore. Like the pulverizer uses about 52,000 EU. That's not very good at energy, is it? But maybe I just doing something wrong and it's not powered correctly. Just a quick update, you can no longer use the hammer in your craft grid to smash ores. You need to do this on the wood. You break it and get to crush it. This is now it's done. Also, before you get the centrifuge, you may find yourself with some problems. You can like go to mining and find some of this small ores like this lithium. Let's dig into get what we want. Yes, we got here. You got the crushed, but you can do nothing with it unless the water washing, thermocentrifuge and stuff. You can make the impure dust by macerating it or using a hammer, but there is no cooking recipe. The only recipe you have is the centrifuge. But if you don't have the centrifuge, what you gonna do? You have this dust in your inventory forever? No. Simply make a cauldron, fill with water and toss your impure dust here. And it gets purified. And I got stone dust. Oh, that's that. Oh, it's right. Wait. What the? Oh, here we are. Let's get this impure lithium dust and throw it on the cauldron. And it's get purified. Yay! So I can use this to make batteries. But you don't get the byproduct, so be aware. If you have anything you want to get cleaner in the dust form, just toss in the cauldron. Thank you all for watching this long, very long episode and my personal opinions of machines and not that much information. And maybe see you again. I will see you again. So, next time.